Hey everyone, how's everyone doing this afternoon?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. So I guess I guess heard some of your introductions earlier, but how many people here have their own business? Okay, everybody. I guess in my mind I was hoping there'd be some people who maybe they don't think they have their own business, or maybe they're like something's holding them back, and talk about that, I guess.
We still kind of feel like that.
Yeah. So.
You said imposter syndrome.
Yeah, imposter syndrome, humbleness, it all. I mean, to a degree, humbleness is good to a degree, I would definitely say. But I guess, like, as far as I go, my name's Dylan Smith. I run a video production company. But when I meet people, I'm at a networking event, I first tell them that I make businesses more money through video strategy, photography. And they hear that, they're like, I want to make more money. Like everyone wants to make more money. And and I used to, when I first started my business, I used to just say, oh, I make videos, I film things, but that's not what a business owner wants to hear. I now consider myself a problem solver. I'm solving a solution. If they don't have a lot of business, they need more customers, I'm providing a video, photography package, whatever they need to succeed, I'm providing that for them. And you might be like, how am I figuring that out? Well, it's me sitting down with them for 30 minutes, an hour, however long it takes, me to learn as much about their business as possible so I can best figure out, best provide those solutions to them. And we now live in a world with social media and the internet to where people don't necessarily have to pay me to promote themselves. We now have the internet. We now have the ability to take our phone out. Mine's over there. I would take it out and show you. Take our phone out and just talk openly. And some people and businesses hire me because maybe they're successful to a point, or they have so many employees they got to manage that they don't have time to set up a phone or talk to a phone and some people do. Some people are able to do both, but most people aren't. But if you're at the point now, maybe you're just starting your business, maybe you can't afford to hire someone like me, or just maybe your buddy who has a phone. Like, if you can't afford to pay them, or they're not willing to work for free and help you out, then we really have the ability. There's someone I know who's my age. I'm 24 years old. Someone I know who she started a coffee shop about a year ago. But she's always, because she was in theater in high school, she's always been able to talk really passionately. And anybody can talk super passionately, but she's just really figured out how she talks about all these coffee drinks, and she talks really passionately about what she does. And she by herself, without hiring a video team, and is able to just put a phone and make these really cool videos talking about these different syrups for a coffee shop, and just really passionate about that. But all of you are passionate about something, and I love hearing people's passions, and that's kind of what I try to capture. But at the end of the day, if you really practice at it, maybe you won't be good at it first, maybe you'll be a natural at it, I don't know. But you set up your phone, you try, you figure out what works. I mean, for me personally, it's for a long time, it's hard for me to just talk to a camera, to say things to a camera. I mean, at first I was doing podcasts and stuff with other people where I was talking to somebody else, but then be a camera that I wasn't looking at, but it still conveyed the passion I have. I would be able to tell stories. And at the end of the day, people just want to connect with you. If they can connect with you, then you're going to be way more successful because they want to support you any way you can. So when you think about branding, you probably think of Tesla, Nike. What's some other brands you think of? Yeah. Yeah, savor the moment. Yeah, savor the moment. Any other? McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then you think about personal brands like Shaq or I'm trying to think of someone who's not canceled right now, but Yeah, but then you go back to like the 70s, the 80s. The only people that you knew about were like actors, and they didn't have the ability to promote the only people who were able to promote themselves like on TV to be like at this national level were if you had money or if you got super lucky and you became an actor and you had all these things. But now we have the ability to take our smartphones out and talk to a phone, promote like, hey, got this cool speaking event today, we got the CEO summit. Like, we now have the ability to just tell anyone who can see it that this event is happening. Well, before you'd have to have like a billboard or you have to have like a local TV commercial. It's just a lot harder.
Yeah.
There's a lot more like steps involved and more money usually. And now we relatively have the ability to do that for quite inexpensive. So,
Well,
yeah.
Taylor
Yeah.
Swift has a great brand, a great personal brand.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking about Rihanna too.
Oh yeah, Rihanna does.
And I'm thinking of her
And
all over
Beyonce.
Sephora yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, I think when I think of brands, I think of like one that comes to mind is Lyrical Lemonade. Are you familiar? Everyone familiar with Lyrical Lemonade? Lyrical Lemonade is there's a guy named Cole Bennett who he's from Chicago, music video director, and he essentially just worked with like he just was doing music videos for very like small artists in Chicago, and eventually just kept rising in the ranks, working with all these celebrities like Kanye and Lil Yachty and several others, lots of others. But he always had a YouTube channel that was just called Lyrical Lemonade, and that was kind of just like a thing he kind of came up with. But now he's got like Lyrical Lemonade Fest. He's got actual lemonade you can buy, and some people know about Lyrical Lemonade, but they don't even know who Cole Bennett is at this point. And now he's got music videos that are coming out that aren't even directed by him because everyone thinks he's now making a feature-length film, and he's just behind the scenes now. So in probably 8 or 10 years, I think he's 26. Like in that time, he's now kind of built this brand that's like larger than himself, and you don't even see him in the videos anymore. Because he'd also post like 20-minute behind-the-scenes videos for every music video he'd do, which is I'm more interested in the behind-the-scenes than the actual music video. But it's really cool to see. But it's like anybody can do, like especially on a local scale, anybody can do that type of thing. Where it's like before you'd have to go to every networking event. You'd have to present yourself in the best way, and people who are introverted, I'm introverted, believe it or not, me standing up here, I'm introverted. You'd have to force yourself to go out of that bubble and go to networking events. But now, you still have to go to networking events, but it's like you could also do social media, post regularly, even just like posting about your event. I mean, I tell photographers and videographers, people who ask me for advice, I tell them that like, hey, if you're somewhere with your camera and you look like you're getting hired, like if you look like you're getting hired, whatever it is, you look like you're in like you could be getting hired for the event. Take your phone out and be like, snap, I'm shooting for tag whoever, or literally just tag whoever, whatever the event space is, and then they might see it and want to hire you, or someone else sees it and be like, wow, you're getting hired. You don't even have to say, you don't even have to say you're getting paid. It's like it's kind of like a fake it till you make it type of thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
I tell you what I like about your brand is that you're very diverse in the different genres and businesses that you work with. Because you work with musicians, but then you did like some paint, like Sherwin-Williams or something. So where did you start, and how did you come into that?
So I honestly, when I first started, like in 2018, I mean, since I was born in 1999, I've always kind of been, for the beginning of the year, I always was the age, like, I'm 24 now, it's 2024, until August, then I'm 25. So, and
Same way of September.
okay, that's cool. In around 2018, I was making dumb YouTube videos. like just YouTube videos with my friends. I was kind of inspired by a YouTuber named Casey Neistat, who's from New York, and he would do videos every single day, and he would just find things happening in New York, but he would always try to tell a lesson with the videos. And I was making videos monthly, and just putting so much time into these videos and doing the best I could while I had a full-time job at Lowe's Home Improvement, not the food store. But then a business owner who's a family friend in Mebane, North Carolina, owns an auction company. I was just down there with my family, and my dad's like, "Hey, show him some of your YouTube videos." And I didn't really want to. But I did. I showed him some of the, like maybe 2 or 3 of those YouTube videos on just in his office on his computer, and then 3 months later, I get a call from him. He's like, I need you to shoot a documentary for me. And I kind of, because he's an older guy, I was like, this guy doesn't want a documentary. He just wants me to make a YouTube video for him. Which really helped me not feel overwhelmed. It didn't, like, I kind of just, like, and they were super supportive. I think I was the only one he knew that did video stuff at the time, and he just kind of wanted to give me a job. So even though I was still working at Lowe's part-time, on any off day I got, I would go to this house. They're auctioneers, but they liquidate houses for people, antiques. And there's a huge house in Reidsville, North Carolina, 10,000 square feet, been in the same family since the 1890s. Didn't throw anything away ever. Yeah, it's insane. It's nuts. Really big house, but I would just go to this house any day I could, and they would save rooms for me too. They're like, oh, we know that there's good stuff in this room, like good antiques, rugs, toys, all these like crazy paintings and just really valuable things. They knew like, oh, this room has valuable stuff. Let's not go in there until Dylan's here. So because of that, they would just like take stuff out of boxes and dust would be flying everywhere. And I was able to just get some really, really good footage, and all these guys were like antique experts. They knew exactly what it was when it took it out for the most part. And they were just able to tell me right then and there, like, oh, this is from 1930 and all this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and then I probably spent, after, I mean, I don't think it was even after. I think when I started filming, I just had so much footage. And, I mean, I would probably work at, like, Lowe's for 8 hours a day, and then I would get home and spend our 5 hours, like, going through this footage up until 2 in the morning every night, working on this. And it's, I guess, what you got to do to make the side hustle work. And I did that for like a month, and then I went back to the auction, got a bunch of interviews with them, because that's really the meat of a documentary, is interviews to sort of interweave all these different events together. And I used just me going through all this footage and just based off of memory, and also writing down a lot of questions to ask. I asked all the all the people at the auction, antique experts who were there at the place. And this was after the place was sold, so I couldn't go back or anything. But I just took all of their interviews and made it into a 15-minute documentary. And to me, I still go back to that video occasionally, and I see flaws in it, but it's the best I could do at the time with what I knew, and I learned a lot from doing that first project. And because I did that project, I've been able to send that to other people and gotten jobs from that. But the problem is I think I had a personal Instagram at the time. I didn't have a website, and I didn't know how to branch from working for this auction company, because I did go to like their auctions, and like they had an auction of a lot of the things they got out of that house. They had that, and that was like a separate YouTube video on their channel. And I went through a lot of their auctions. Would go there. They would have like a 5-hour auction, make it into a 5-minute video. But I really wasn't charging enough. I didn't know what to charge, and I really didn't know what I was doing business-wise. So I actually went to school. I went to, because I'd gone to high school, and then I took like a gap year, because I couldn't, we toured like film schools because we knew I wanted to do video stuff. And we didn't really find anything that was affordable, because film school is very expensive. But my dad discovered that they had a really, really good photography program at Randolph Community College. And I did an associate's degree there in photojournalism, and it taught me a lot. A lot about lighting, a lot about. I even interned with a couple media companies. Really got to see, like 40 hours a week. Got to see sort of a behind the scenes look at some of these media companies. I learned just so much from doing that, and also some of them would hire me even afterwards to just help them on set and help them with the film their events, whatever it was. I learned a lot, and because of all that, I took I'm in school my photojournalism class. They might say, okay, go film an event and film 2 interviews and make like a 1-minute highlight video, which is more similar to what I do now. And then I would turn that in. Teacher would criticize it a lot. He'd say, like, you get a 50 on this because you did, like, he was super critical and really taught me a lot. But I would take that video, fix all the mistakes. Every single mistake that he mentioned, he graded me off. I'd fix them all. Then I would send it. Then, it's like I might go to, like a DJ event here in Greensboro, and make a really good video. I'd say, hey, DJs, can I film your event? And then I would get graded on this project, and then I would fix it, and then I would send it to the DJs. Now the DJs want to hire me to film more events, and that kind of led to, like, probably one like group of DJs might have hired me like 5 or 6 times for 5 of their events for different venues they were going to, and there was a lot of that where I would turn a school project into a client at the time. And I don't know what told me to do that. I also would send.
Entrepreneurial spirit.
DJs love videos of themselves.
Yeah. What also would send. I would also like go on Instagram and like look at every story I could and find every single person I could that would be at that event and send them the video too, because there's a chance that there was a clip of them dancing or doing a backflip, whatever. Like. Yeah. Yeah, and there was a lot of like event videos I did, because that's a lot what nowadays photojournalists do. Not as much. I mean, journalism has changed a lot, in that it's all online, and there's definitely even less staff than there was then. But that skill set really taught me how to. So it taught me how to do what I do now. And right after school, I had my Instagram sort of built up. I converted my personal to my business, and I just kept going from there, doing just different things. I'd get a lot of referrals. The biggest thing that I have discovered in the last 5 years is there's people I like to call connectors, that people that you'll meet that they will vouch for you. They'll be your biggest fans. They might never hire, like for me in my business, they might never hire me, but they will vouch for me. And I'll tell you, Joey Cheek is one of them for me. And he's going to be speaking later. Is one of them for me. And I think I have 3 or 4 people that right now that they're just like constantly saying like, hey, you should get this guy to film your stuff, whatever. And I'm really grateful for them. But I guess there's people who just have this sort of energy about them. They just have this, you just want to be around them, like they have infectious energy, and they're really, really outgoing, whatever it is that they have, that you want to find these people, and those people are anywhere and everywhere. I just found them randomly. In September of 2022, after a year of having my business, I was still not charging a lot because I still didn't know a lot of business stuff, but I was making enough money to pay rent. But there was like a whole month where I just was not getting any work. I'd gotten tons of work before. For some reason, September, for me, it's a lot of referrals, and now it's me trying to get retainers. That's what I'm at now. But there's like a whole month where I didn't get anything, and I was just sending emails left and right. I was calling people. I was desperate for work, and I just wasn't targeting the right businesses either, which is big. And I think I got like an Instagram ad for some gaming organization that was having an esports tournament, and I'm just a curious person. I'm like, I don't know anything about this industry. Is there money in it? So I call the number that was there, and some guy answers, and clearly I called I called the wrong time. It's like 5 o'clock. There's a crying baby in the background, and clearly I called the wrong time. But he was curious to know more about me because I was curious to know more about his industry. He said he'd call me back the next day. He didn't call me back the next day. So he was set up because he's a gaming musician, still starting out. He would set up his trailer with with all the consoles, PS5, Xbox, all these Switch, all these different consoles. He'd set up like at a bar where kids could play. It's something to promote his brand and his esports tournaments. So they were doing that in Winston. I'm like, I'm gonna drive over to Winston and talk to this guy. And then I probably spent like an hour talking to him and his assistant, just telling him what I wanted to do, like the kind of stuff I wanted to make. I want to help these businesses. And turns out his assistant, who I left that like that night thinking, oh my God, I just wasted like an hour. I just drove all the way to Winston. I got nothing out of that. But like a month later, his assistant, turns out he's just involved with a lot of different businesses. He's just a connector, if you will. And he calls me up. Have you ever shot a documentary before? Exact same. Exact. And turns out he's him and two other soccer coaches, and he's not a soccer coach, but he knows a lot about producing and different. He's got a lot. He's just has a lot going on. Him and two other soccer coaches saw the Wrexham documentary, which is Ryan Reynolds' soccer team. It's a whole 10 episode docuseries, and they saw that. Like essentially, Ryan Reynolds put a lot of money and put a lot of people involved with that to make them a better team. He's like, we want to do the same thing for Greensboro. Make a soccer team that can play against these bigger teams. And that's what they did. From September of 2022, or November of 2022, to a month ago, I've been filming for them. And it's still, it will be a feature-length documentary. It's Savor FC. They have just been like practicing. I filmed so many recruiting days, so many investor meetings, and just everything. Like I've been to Savannah, Georgia with them. I've been to Cary, North Carolina twice with them. It was an amazing opportunity to see these. I mean, it's ages 18 to 30. So I mean, the tournaments in Cary that they played, the winner gets $1 million, and they play against all these teams from England and just big teams. Famous. Some of them are famous in the soccer world, and it will be a feature-length documentary. And I've been filming it, and it's a lot of footage, and it sounds like they want me to like start going through it, start going through the footage in this fall, even though they haven't. The idea is they win the tournament at the end they win a tournament at the end. So they thought they were going to win this year. They did beat 4 teams. They did a lot better than they did last year. And these are not like, I think there's one called non-EFC or something like that. But like there's really some of I can't remember, but they're like Chris Paul was there last year at that tournament. So there are celebrities, especially in ESPN. And the thing is, I don't know anything about soccer really. But to me, it's all about the passion. It's all about the passion people have, and it's like it's probably the reason that I work with so many different types of people. To finally answer your question, work with so many different types of people is because to me it's all about the passion. If I can get a chef or get a caterer, get whoever talking about cooking up some whatever they cook up, and they talk passionately about that, then I can film that, and then people want to support them any way they can. Not only because the food looks good, but because they're selling them on the food through their passion. So, I mean, in the beginning, I talked about like an elevator speech, which is what that is. Like me saying that I make businesses more money through video and photo. And that's an elevator speech. And why is it called an elevator speech? It's called an elevator speech because this sort of metaphor of like living in a big city, like think about New York, think about these really tall skyscrapers. The people at the bottom, work in the mailroom, but they want to have their own business. And then the people on the top, they're big CEOs, they're big executives, but they still got to use the same elevator. So you're walking in the elevator, and you see this big executive. You have 30 seconds to sell them on whatever it is that your big idea is or your business is, and that's why it's called an elevator speech. But it's really about thinking about what you are to another business and your unique selling proposition. What you can do, if you think about whatever industry you're in, you think about all your competitors. What can you do to stand out? What can you do to be unique? And also, you really shouldn't look at your competitors. At least I don't. I don't look at my competitors as competitors. I look at them as collaborators. Because if I get a big enough project, I'm going to hire them to help me. And I usually do. Like Devon here, he's help. I could easily set up that camera and just hit record and walk up here. But what if that camera stops recording? What if that camera runs out of battery? Like, I need somebody to give me the confidence to stand up here and not be thinking about that. And that's a big part of my, like, if I have to have 4 cameras at an event, I'm going to have someone behind every single one of those cameras because anything could go wrong. And most of my jobs nowadays do require more people. And you might think, like, hey, do I have part-time? I at the moment in my career, and I don't have anybody part-time. It's all by project basis. It's all contractors. I would love to one day have like a full-time editor, but that's where I'm at right now, and that's just based on me working with other people who do what I do. That's what has worked for them at their level, but I've also seen the higher level of that where they have a team of 5 that work for them full-time, and that it really just depends on the workload. But I would suggest that once you're, whatever industry you're in, once you're able to the first step is to just have someone who might be at a big event or whatever it is, like have someone who can help you with that event and just pay them for that one event. And it really doesn't work with some industries, like your industry, the baking industry. You need you need full-time, part-time employees. Yeah, so it's different for everybody, but I would definitely say, like, as many people in your industry that you can talk to, you can learn from, because, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't have so many coffee meetings and so many lunch meetings or just working alongside the other people in my industry, just people who are willing to just give you advice or you're willing to ask questions. There's so many people that have given me just great advice, and every industry is a little different. Any questions?
That was really good.
Do you see any trends happening that like are important for small businesses, you think? Like, I know at some point social media became the trend, and I guess we're kind of still there. But I think like short form videos, I guess, might be coming up.
So, I mean, I've definitely noticed that you're, I guess, more traditional, like when you think of like a TV commercial where it's just like, or like you think about, when I think of TV commercial, I either think like infomercial, where it's like ShamWow or like any of those, yeah, OxyClean or any of those types of things. But then I also think of just these sort of boring, if you will, just music and visuals. That's really what it comes down to, and it might be something that's really catching and might be some really good. But I definitely see less of that and more of, I guess, what I've been talking about. Like what I'm providing for companies now is like a package. So it's like I might, for like a construction company, I recently made them a 4-minute video, like basically showing the entire process of them fixing up a house. And this was a house in Greensboro. It was not in a good part of town. You walk in this house and there's yellow everywhere, and if you know what that means, there's stuff everywhere. It looks like a crack house. And I got that like on camera. Got him walking through the house. We're gonna fix this, this, and this. Guy who's really passionate about helping people out, construction, and even the house flipper who I wasn't working for, but hired this construction guy. I got him on camera to talk about working with this construction worker, working with this construction worker's team, and I got before and after video over like the course of, I maybe visited 4 times out of a month. And with that, I was able to make a 4-minute video, and you might think 4 minutes, like that's not good for social media, but I then was able to make it I was able to convert it and film it in such a way to where it would be good for like YouTube like this and social media like this. And I had the 4-minute video for his website, and then cut that 4-minute video into 16 parts. 16 small 15-second to 20-second parts, and those would go on his Facebook. He's more active on Facebook than anything, it seems like. But I made him make an Instagram, made him make a TikTok, had him post on all those platforms, and new people would find this small little video, and a video of him narrating like, oh, we're gonna tear this cabinet out, or we're gonna replace this, and it'd be like a little 15-second snippet, and it would end in a way that people might want to watch more. They're like, I want more of this guy. And I'd always find a segment that kind of ended, but like you wanted more. So either people continue watching his social media, which is good for his social media, or they go to the website and they see the full 4-minute video. And then it's more or less a sales funnel type of thing, to where now they want to call him up and ask, hey, can you fix my house? Or hey, whatever it is. And he hasn't hired me since. Like he seems like he's now got like a small little warehouse where he keeps like 2x4s and all these materials, and he didn't have that before at all. He seems like he's just very successful. You look like you have a question.
Oh no, I'm taking everything in right now. When it comes to me, I'll let you go.
Okay.
TikTok is a great idea, but
So I do have a question. Okay. My question is, so I have a product which is a tower garden, but a lot of times because I don't know how to do like the videos and stuff, like I will record the tower garden, but a lot of my videos I do, I'm not in them. So do you think that really matters to have, like I'm also selling the tower garden, so it's important for me to also be in the video? Or just do the
I say
I need to find a stand.
it's
That's
okay.
what
Okay,
I have to, like,
so
talk to if I-
yeah, so there's two. It's if you could try, but you could try to talk to a camera or talk to a phone, and if you can't, like if you really feel like you think it's cringy, whatever. Because I was definitely at that point where, like when I was making YouTube videos, I go back to those YouTube videos, I'm cringing at myself, and that's just normal. And if you definitely feel like you can, or you're just too embarrassed by the video, once you look at it, then you get a customer to give a really good video testimonial. And it can just be a friend of yours, whoever you can get, to just talk highly about maybe why this product is needed or how this could help. Like think about reasons. Like there's a company recently that it's basically a better version of a smoke detector, and the company's called iDetect. It senses a flame, like, and it instantly will go off, send you a phone notification. It's very, very good. And they had a company from Canada, some production company in Canada, make a cheesy commercial of some kid playing with matches, and then the parents see it immediately, and all right, everything's like a crisis averted. But that didn't show, and they're all firefighters, the people who made this product. So to them, it's like this fire detector is needed, and it's like smoke detectors are inferior to this product. But like essentially, I was telling them, like after learning about their business, that people don't know the difference between this and a smoke detector. They don't know how big of a difference this makes. They don't know. They're not firefighters, so you got to look at it from the perspective of the consumer. I have 2 smoke detectors in my house, and I think they're going to work great. Like that's what I told them, and so they got to work, and I spent a whole day with them. They set up fires in their garage. They had 6 smoke detectors in their product on the wall, and we showed the difference. And sometimes the smoke detectors didn't even go off, and they burn drapes, they burn rugs, they had everything. Like they're firefighters, so they knew what they were doing. But I filmed that with 6 cameras. And now I'm creating 10 videos for their website to fill out their entire website. And also thinking about, like, they had a whole page of FAQ. They had an about page with the owner. And the about page with the owner was just a photo of him and then the bio. I told them, no one wants to read that. People want to hear you talk about yourself. And he said he helped even make some of those smoke detectors, like back in the day. And I was able to, in that interview with him, get him to talk about his background. And yeah, and I'm still working on those videos. It's a process, because that was only 2 weeks ago when I filmed that. That it was like a full content day, if you will, of that. But it's like, if you can get either yourself or customers to talk highly about your product, and then also, even while and there's plenty of like editing softwares, like even on your phone, like CapCut, or even like Instagram editing itself. It's a little more tricky than that. But if you can have the audio of that person speaking while you see the product, that's more or less what I'm doing. But the thing is, you can do it on your phone if you have, like, I keep telling people that, like, even if you have a phone that's 5 years old, it's still gonna be better than absolutely nothing. Like, even if you, I don't know. I was expecting younger people to be in here, so like, even if you have to use your grandpa's camera, like, whatever, like, you can make something work, and it's better than just making an excuse like, oh, I can't do this, and then you don't have then you have less sales. So.
I guess not really a question, but it kind of is. I kind of want to touch about what you said, because I have like this little, I make cakes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like this small little studio that I have set up on lights, backdrop and all that stuff. So like if you're taking a picture of my work, I kind of want all, if I look at my Instagram, it kind of look the same, all professional, from typically like the same image or the same view and all that stuff. So that way, if someone wants to see my work, then they can literally see, and then it's clean and presentable. I just began posting kind of what you were talking about, like actually like videoing yourself, actually what you're doing. So actually, I just showed Miss Tanya a few minutes ago that I have a video of me, like a little 10-second reel of me, I guess, putting together like a bob-tier wedding cake together, and you can see kind of like the process from like top to finish. And I really realized that all the stuff I posted on there, little like here and there, 2, 3, 4, 10 maybe. But like the interaction I got with just that one, it's got like hundreds of views, like with like nothing, and it's like put a little sound on there, and so I'm just like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my literal first thought was, oh, I want to see that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah. You could easily just replicate that and do that with every cake you bake, and then, the next step with that is you either got to think about retention. So it's like, if you make a 10-second video, maybe most people will watch the first 5 seconds and then stop watching it. So to get that retention, you then have to maybe voice over afterwards, like, oh, we're here making a five-tier cake. Like, and you actually, like, I guess, like, passionately talking about, like maybe why you made certain decisions, or like you need to. That's another thing. Like, you need to talk. Like, go back to fake it till you make it. You need to talk like you're an expert at what you do, even if you don't think you are. It goes back to the imposter syndrome, the humbleness. Even if you don't think that you're like the best, or well, not the best, but you need to talk like you're very knowledgeable about what you're doing. You need to come, if you're going to voice over, you talk about like why you made certain decisions, and it could just be intuitive, like you don't know why you made it, but it's like if you just come from sort of the perspective of like an expert, like you're an expert at what you do, then you're going to come off better off to anybody who wants to hire you to make their cake.
And that's one of the awesome things about it just being intuitive, is that's your USP. Like, that's your unique selling proposition. Is like, I don't know why I did this, just felt good. And people are like, awesome, I want that person to make my wedding cake, So that's okay if it's just intuitive.
I guess,
Oh, you want to go?
No, I was just gonna say, I noticed that too, like with travel. So when I first started, I used to just do pictures of rooms, and then now I actually do room reviews. Like, okay, this is the balcony, and these are the beds, and this is the bathroom. They got this kind of shower. instead of just taking pictures. And people are like, oh, okay, that's a bathroom.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, look, it comes out the ceiling, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I've noticed that too.
There you go.
Go ahead.
What software? Like, so my son, he's 10. He's really interested, like on his own. I really take notice to like, when my kid, I have 2 kids, but my son is 10. What they're doing on their own. Like I could be like, hey, so I'm really business oriented. Like, let's get your business started now. And so. I'm like, okay, well, let's do this for you. You'd like to do this, but they're not putting the energy into that. But I see him over here doing edits by himself. He's editing. He's like, oh, Mom, look at this. Oh, and I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let's invest into that. So for a 10-year-old, I mean, because his dad knows a lot. He can show him stuff about, like, because he's in marketing and everything. But, like, for him, what kind of software would you think?
Is it all on a phone, or is it on an iPad, or
He's
is it?
on an iPhone.
Okay,
right
so, the software I'm using to edit is probably quite
Complex.
intimidating for
Yeah.
a 10-year-old. On a phone, I think, I mean, they all kind of look similar, like iMovie, and Adobe Rush is very similar. It's very simple. Like Adobe has like Adobe Premiere, which is like their complicated version, and then they took that and said, okay, we're going to simplify it. You don't like all the tools that maybe a beginner or somebody would need. We're going to put into Adobe Rush, and it's just a lot more simple. But I will say, like, I don't know, Adobe Rush might cost money. Yeah, CapCut. I keep hearing about CapCut, but I've never used it because I have.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have him to shoot my stuff and my daughter's stuff for her.
I'd say CapCut. Is CapCut free?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
For a business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Starting off, I feel like.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool. I mean, I constantly see like Instagram videos of look what I can do in CapCut.
I just want to make sure like it's on a professional level. And
There's all types of stuff people do in there. Like I see on TikTok all the time. They have this feature where it's like you could take I don't know if they use AI for it or what, but it's like you take a
Probably.
photo and like they expand it and they just like fill in the rest of the photo on their own. So it's pretty advanced. You can do
So I
it.
can have him use. He's familiar with CapCut a little bit. So all right.
I mean,
hire him.
I definitely relate to that because when I was 10 years old, I tried making Lego stop motions. Just where you take a picture for you take a picture and basically make it look like your Lego figures are moving. I didn't have the patience for it at all, but I along with anyone else who's my age grew up with YouTube, so that's what I saw on YouTube is these Lego stop motions, and I wanted to make the same thing. So I probably had my parents spend way too much money on the like a webcam and like lights and all and obviously the Lego like a lot of Legos. So yeah.
One last thing, I don't know if y'all see this now, but it's kind of like when we were talking about trends. Y'all seen, it was a restaurant, so they took like a viral clip with like a pigeon on like a light pole or whatever, that like, I guess touched it and then it fell off dead.
Oh,
And
no.
then somebody had a restaurant like some wings and then all of a sudden you seen like a bear like something.
Okay, so I know what you're talking about. So it's like where they take some clip of some crazy thing happening. Like I've seen people like, I mean, it's some of these some of the clips they're using are definitely not family friendly. Like some guy could like I don't know. I've seen. I'm trying to remember what I saw because I've definitely seen what you're talking about. But they take some clip and then they'll. I think I saw one where someone like splashed water at the camera and then someone else like I guess they got someone to like splash water on them and then that's how the video starts. But it's a really good way to just catch you off guard, and then it's like it just. But at the end of the day, what?
Those car salesman videos?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's just a really good way to catch you off guard and keep you watching. And I mean, it's honestly about a really good transition. I think I saw something. The person I mentioned earlier who has the gaming organization, he now has. I'm trying to remember the name of it. He's got a place in Winston that's a big like gaming place where you could just go and play games, and they got tons of computers and all this stuff now. It's much bigger. But he did something to where it might have been someone like jumping off a building or something like that, something crazy like that, and he like with his like gaming chair like spun around in the same way, and that like, or I don't know, but I've seen people doing that now. That's just a trend, but it's a really good way to catch people off guard and keep them watching.
It is. I wonder if, like, if depending on the clip, would you have to get like certain copyright permissions or something?
Probably not.
Okay. I know something like crazy, like it is.
A lot of those clips just go super viral, and there's a whole thing right now where some of these pages that just post like meme compilations, some of them are getting permission from the owners, and some of them are buying them, and it's kind of a gray area right now. But I would say if you're just making a video on Instagram, just something fun, it's probably not going to, unfortunately, it's probably not going to go viral. Your customers might see it, but I'm saying the whole world won't see it. So you're safe, but there is a gray area. At some point, that might change. Did you?
Well, so like I kind of already know the answer to it. Because I have a lot of different platforms and different things I'm a part of, and I feel guilty even about doing this event and posting it on our dessert bar social media outlet. But I have presence there, but it's a conflict in a sense because it doesn't represent that. And so, do you have any idea besides having a whole nother? That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I would recommend is having a whole nother page for this event, or if you had, the thing is, if either you have one for this event, or if you have other events besides this one, you have a page just for your events. And then what you do is, if you want that following, if you want like your Savor the Moment following to see this event, you do collaborative posts to where it'll get posted to both of your accounts, and then essentially I do this a lot with businesses that I work with, people who I make videos for, is I'll essentially do a collaborative, like I'll do a behind the scenes post of like, oh, we filmed this yesterday, and I'll get whoever I hired to help me with the video, I'll have them film a couple clips on the phone throughout the day. And then I'll post that the next day, like, oh, yesterday we filmed this for this person, and I'll collaborate with that person, which then allows anyone who follows me to see, obviously, that I'm doing work, and this is like behind the scenes of that, but then also be like, oh, I need a construction company right now. Let me go over to this other guy's page and then follow them. And then also, even when I post that video, when I post like the final video I did for them, I'll still collaborate. And the thing is, you can invite. There's been times where like that big soccer event, I like would just send an invite to collaborate with TST, the big organizer of the whole event, and they didn't accept it, but it's like they could.
But how does that show up on your feed, though? When you're collaborating, it still show up on your feed?
It shows up on your feed. It shows up on everyone's who accepts the collaborator, just like it's your.
Does that look okay, though, like, because it's not representing the dessert bar and what we do specifically? Because I did it like you were sponsoring this event.
Yeah, and I definitely honestly, if you asked me to be a collaborator on the big post with all the speakers, I would have accepted it. Everyone would have accepted it, and your name. And the thing is, your name would have still been first. And it used to be that you can only collaborate with 1 or people, but now you can collaborate with I think up to 10, or it might be more now. I don't know. But it's like but nowadays it'll just say like you and 4 others, but it'll still be posted to everyone as if they posted it themselves. Yeah.
Actually, I did kind of have a question. I don't know if you answered this already or not. If I missed it.
It's all good.
But so for me, like I'm an artist, and when I post on my page, like I'm very specific and intentional with everything that I post. Like I want it to be an accurate reflection of me and what I got going on right now and what I'm trying to have going on. You know what I mean? So I'm not like a quantity over quality type individual. So like, how would you navigate with still trying to put out content and like kind of let people in on your life, but not trying to put out too much or like have it just not represent you the way that you envision?
So when you say artist, you mean
I do. I rap. I do poetry.
Okay.
I do all type of stuff.
Okay, so I'm actually talking to someone about doing a music video right now. He's the kind of more hyper pop scene.
Okay.
But we were just talking ideas about like where to shoot the music video. He's from Raleigh. and he told me his girlfriend's got like his girlfriend's family has like a big property with a bunch of old like small little planes, and I was like, well, we need to think about what way to promote the music video. Like if you post a music video just outright, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna care about it, especially local artists. No one's gonna care. But I was like telling him we need to think about a way to promote it, and he has enough money to pay me for a music video, but not to promote it. Essentially, is what it came down to. But I still will give him a bunch of ideas. So like I told him like, hey, go to that property, film different. Just try to find like different shots with your own phone, and then later when we actually have the music video done, maybe we take a month before we even post it to promote it, and maybe come up with some kind of narrative, like we turned this abandoned property into a music video spot. And you can kind of create this hype around it I'm even talking to I even mentioned that to someone who's actually turning part of their hemp farm into a music venue in like Louisville in September. So a very similar idea. Like I easily just say like we show him mowing down or whatever you do to these big hemp plants. Show him cutting all those down, and then almost like showing the process, like almost like a behind the scenes look. This is how we turned the farm into like music for a music festival or a small little music festival. Like he's even having 20 vendors at that place, so it's a pretty sizable thing. I don't know. That's in September. I'm probably doing that, but it's like I'm providing. It's like he says I need you to go film this event, but then I'm telling him all this other stuff that can help him to promote it, because he can have the event, and me filming can promote future events, but he needs to promote this event now.
Right, and that helps you in the long run too, because the more successful his video is, the more people like, oh, who shot this?
Yeah, and I mean he wants to be able to have this event twice a year, and this is like the first time I think he did one 3 years ago, but this is like he's doing it with different people this time, and he had issues before, but now he's doing it more on his own, and he's got 20 vendors, but he wants big sponsors for his next couple ones, so that's the way you do it. I mean, it's just showing a more organic sort of, even showing the process, like you in the studio, like, oh, we're in the studio today, like something to kind of promote you doing music or whatever it is. So, yeah. I mean, anything that shows that you're kind of working toward it.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Next one up. No, they're good. Keep it going.
I'm sorry for going past time.
No, you're good. You're good. If we keep this going, maybe you're our